The second topic of the first lecture is about empirical and theoretical knowledge. We can hear that sociology is empirical science, or that we have empirical science, but also we can hear about sociological or social theories, or economic theories, or political theories. But at the same time, political science is empirical science, economy is empirical science. So how these two parts of component of knowledge, of social science knowledge, like merge together or different, or are different. This would be the second topic. When we talk about empirical knowledge, this is knowledge that that we can gain through observation. When we observe the world, we achieve, or we can produce empirical knowledge. The word empirical comes from Greek empirikos, which means experience. So the empirical knowledge is based on experience. But what is experience? Experience is what we can get through our senses, what we can see as observation, what we can smell, what we can hear from respondent. When we ask question, we can hear something. What we can taste. When we do anthropology, we taste different foods of different cultures. What we can touch, materiality. So these are our senses, and we get experience from this the senses. As a some empirical knowledge is experiential, not experimental. We don't necessarily have to do experiments, but it's experiential. It's based on our experience. It means it's gained through our senses. While theoretical knowledge is different. It's also about the world, but it reduces the world to concepts. The word theory comes also from Greek, but from the word theorein, which Pythagoras used in the sense of thinking about, contemplating something, like in a process of in a conversation that we think about it. And when we think, we produce theories that are statements about the world. So these, that the job, freedom and salary contribute to job satisfaction, is a theory, and because it's not based on our experience, it's not we cannot observe job freedom directly, not salary. We have indicators and so on, but as a scheme we cannot perceive it physically, this. But these are statements about the world. It's also concerned world, not just, it's not only imagination, it's not only fiction, it's about the world. So theories are statements about the world, and statements are formed with interrelated concepts. Not only I say that job satisfaction is job freedom and salary, but that job freedom and salary contribute together to job satisfaction, that there is some causal relationship between them. So they are interrelated. And what does it mean when we say that the social sciences are empirical? It means that they have certain procedure how to operate, how they produce knowledge. And at the beginning of this procedure, is observation, that they start with observation and they end with theories. While non-empirical science, for example philosophy, the philosophy doesn't start with observation. It can start with observation, but mostly it starts with contemplation, thinking about some problem, not to observing in the external world. So the procedure starts with using observation as a primary way approaching the social world. Next, we search for association of patterns in external world, regularities or rules. We observe patterns, and when we find these patterns, we define social phenomena consisting of these patterns. So if we look unemployment, we can define a concept of unemployment. We search for unemployed people, and we find some patterns. We can define the term unemployment, and we create concepts representing the phenomena. It means not only unemployment but related concepts. We interpret or explain relations between these concepts, and at the end we formulate theories about the social world. So this is the path, the typical procedure, how social sciences, which social sciences use in order to be empirical. The example I already used some parts of it. We can observe unemployed people, observe physically, or ask them, or look at them, etc. In productive age, we search for patterns. We find some patterns, so we define what unemployment is, like a hypothesis. We create concepts, for example, short-term and long-term unemployment. We found that there are two types of unemployment that are different in our observation. So we define these two concepts, and we describe or explain relationship between them, between short-term and long-term unemployment. And finally, we can formulate theory of unemployment. And to keep this path from observation to theory, or to do it correctly, we have to differentiate between empirical and theoretical question. We should not try to answer theoretical question by observation, because theoretical question should be answered by thinking, while we should not try to answer empirical question by theories, because empirical question relate to our experience, what could be observed, what can be observed by our senses. Empirical question concern observable phenomena. For example, what does it mean for people to be unemployed? We can ask them, we can observe them to find what does it mean for them. How many people are unemployed in a given place and time? So we can look at statistics and go to the employment office, etc., to find the answer, not to thinking about it, just thinking without observation. While theoretical questions concern concepts and their relationship, as I showed in the second slide, this job satisfaction, job freedom and salary. For example, how broad is the concept of unemployment? What is included in the concept of unemployment? Are caring parents also unemployed people, or rich people who don't work, or disabled people? So these are theoretical questions. We must think about it. Just looking in external world, making observation will not solve the question of broadness of the concept of unemployment. So we answer empirical questions by observation and theoretical questions by contemplation or by thinking. And the questions for you, please, in the document, in share document, propose an empirical question, one empirical question that about social reality that can be answered by observing or by using our senses. And propose also in the second, this is the second question, propose a theoretical question which is not answerable by looking outside or asking somebody, in some respondent, but which is possible to answer through thinking, reflecting, contemplating, and write it down in the document.